Hello students, I welcome you all to the online video lecture on the course Applied Thermodynamics. In the today's session, we will study the dual cycle, which is in module 1 of chapter 1, that is air standard cycles. The agenda of today's class is to learn the dual cycle. In that, we will study how to draw the dual cycle on the PV and TS coordinates, and also we will derive the air standard efficiency for a diesel cycle. Let's start our session. The dual cycle is also known as mixed cycle or limited pressure cycle or Trinkler cycle or cylinder cycle or Savage cycle. In many competitive exams, he asked the competitive exams like SSCs, railways, and gate examinations. What is the other name of dual cycle or mixed cycle? So you should remember all the names. Okay. Now this is a theoretical cycle of a modern high-speed diesel engine, is more adequately represented by a dual combustion cycle. In this cycle, the part of heat addition is at constant volume and the remainder is at constant pressure. The heat addition at constant volume tends to increase the efficiency of cycle, and heat addition at constant pressure tends to limit the maximum pressure of the cycle. So as the name itself indicates, in dual cycle, the heat addition takes place in the two different stages. The first part of heat addition takes place at constant volume, that is isochorically. The remaining part of heat addition takes place at constant pressure, that is isobarically. In Otto cycle, we have seen the heat addition was taking place at constant volume. In diesel cycle, we have seen the heat addition was taking place at constant pressure, but the dual cycle is a combination of both Otto cycle and diesel cycle, where a part of heat addition takes place at constant volume that will increase the efficiency of the cycle, and remaining part of the heat addition takes place at constant pressure, which tends to limit the maximum pressure of the cycle. Let us see how to draw the cycle on PV and TS coordinates. So first we'll see the PV coordinates. The process 1 to 2 is a reversible adiabatic process or isentropic compression process. I repeat, process 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression. Now, as I said, the heat addition takes place at the two different processes, namely constant volume process and constant pressure process. So 2 to 3 represents, the process 2 to 3 represents heat addition at constant volume, and the process 3 to 4 represents heat addition at constant pressure. Okay, so you have to clearly differentiate between 2 to 3 process, the process 1 to 2, the process 2 to 3. There should be clear difference. There should be some difference between this curve and the straight line. Don't join these two lines, these 2 points directly. In fact, clearly you should differentiate between the curve 1 to 2 and the line 2 to 3. Okay. Now the process 4 to 5 is the reversible adiabatic expansion process, and 5 to 1 represents the constant volume heat rejection process. I hope this is clear. Now how to draw the same diagram on TS coordinate, that is temperature versus entropy diagram. The process 1 to 2 is isentropic compression, which is represented by a straight line or vertical line. The process 2 to 3 is constant volume heat addition or heat addition at constant volume, that is, it is represented by a curved line. Similarly, the process 3 to 4 is the constant pressure heat addition, which is also represented by a curved line, but there should be a difference between these two curves. The process 2 to 3 is constant volume process, which has more slope, and process 3 to 4 is also the curved line which has the less slope. On TS coordinates, the curve with the less slope is a constant pressure process, and the curve with the larger slope is constant volume process. Got it? Similarly, the process 4 to 5 is the reversible adiabatic expansion or isentropic expansion. The process 5 to 1 is constant volume heat rejection. 5 to 1 is constant volume heat rejection. Let's have the terminology related to the derivation. The first one is, as I said, in the Otto cycle as well as in the dual cycle also, the VC stands for clearance volume. The VS stands for swept volume, stroke volume, or displacement volume. Now RC stands for compression ratio, which is defined as the ratio of volume at the beginning of compression to volume at the end of compression. Remember students, the process 2 to 3 is constant volume process in which V2 is equals to V3, in which V2 equals to V3, because 2 to 3 is constant volume process. So that's why this V1 by V2 can also be written as V1 by V3, because V2 is equal to V3. Now, as you have seen how to write the RC, that is compression ratio, Vs plus Vc divided by Vc, that is the total volume of the cylinder divided by the clearance volume. So that is known as the compression ratio. Now, RE stands for expansion ratio, which is defined as the ratio of volume at the end of compression, volume of the cylinder at the end of compression, to volume of the cylinder at the beginning of compression. That is 4 to 5, process 4 to 5 represents expansion process. Fine. So volume at the end of expansion, that is V5, divided by volume at the beginning of expansion, that is V4. So V4 by V5 is the expansion ratio. Fine. Now V4 by V3, V4 by V3. So 3 to 4 is also the heat addition process, which is at constant pressure, the constant pressure heat addition. Now volume at the beginning of, volume at the end of heat addition to the volume at the beginning of heat addition, that is V4 by V3. V4 by V3 is nothing but cutoff ratio. V4 by V3 is nothing but cutoff ratio, as we have seen in the diesel cycle also. Now, which is represented by alpha. So remember students, cutoff ratio is represented by alpha. In the different books, he may use the different symbols. No need to worry. You can use any symbol. In some books, he has used the rho, okay, instead of alpha. So no issue. You can use either rho or you can use either alpha. So V4 by V3 is a cutoff ratio. Similarly, P3 by P4, P3 by P2. Now 2 to 3 is also the heat addition process, which is at constant volume. Now pressure at the end of heat addition divided by the pressure at the beginning of heat addition during the constant volume process. So this pressure ratio is represented by beta, So these are the things which you need to remember. Fine. Now, let's analyze each and every process in detail. After that, we'll proceed with this derivation on the air standard efficiency. It consists of 5 processes, namely 2 constant pressure process, 2 constant volume process. Here it should be the 2. Here it should be the 2 constant volume process. 2 constant volume processes, 1 constant pressure process, and 2 adiabatic process. Remember students, here in the dual cycle we have 5 processes, namely the 2 constant volume process, 2 constant 2 to 3, and even 5 to 1, both are the constant volume process. 3 to 4 is constant pressure process. 3 to 4 is constant pressure process, so 1 constant pressure process, and 1 to 2 is adiabatic compression. 4 to 5 is adiabatic expansion. So 2 adiabatic process, 2 constant volume process, and 1 constant pressure process. in some examinations, sometimes he will ask in the competitive exams, how many processes the dual cycle have? So the answer is 5 processes. The 2 constant volume process, 1 constant pressure process, and 2 adiabatic process. So please remember these points. Fine. Now the process 1 to 2, it is a reversible adiabatic compression or isentropic compression process where the heat addition is equals to 0. As we have seen in the previous classes also, during the adiabatic process, the heat transfer is also equals to 0. Now work transfer. So we have seen during the compression process, the work transfer is negative. So start with the minus sign here. P1 V1 minus P2 V2 divided by gamma minus 1. Here you are supposed to take the bracket here. Okay. Here you are supposed to take the bracket. Okay. Now process 2 to 3 is constant volume heat addition or isochoric heat addition process. Now heat addition during this process Q2 to 3 is given by mCV into T3 minus T2. Sometimes the students will have the confusion while taking the temperature difference. The simple way to remember this temperature difference is just observe the TS diagram and take which one is the maximum temperature as first, and then next take the minimum temperature. So if you are writing the heat transfer equation for process 2 to 3, then the maximum temperature is T3 and minimum temperature is T2. As we are dealing with the constant volume process, so you are supposed to take the specific heat at constant volume, that is small cv. So heat addition at constant volume Q2 to 3 equals to mCV into T3 minus T2. Similarly, process 3 to 4, the constant pressure heat addition or isobaric heat addition. The heat addition during Q3 to 4 is given by mCp into T4 minus T3. See, 3 to 4 is heat addition at constant pressure. So T4 is more, T3 is less. So mCp into T4 minus T3. I repeat, mCp. Why we are taking Cp? Because this process is constant pressure process. So we are supposed to take the specific heat at constant pressure, that is small Cp. That is small Cp. Now the total heat addition. The total heat addition is a sum of heat added during the process 2 to 3 plus heat added during the process 3 to 4. So the sum will give you the total heat added, that is mCv into T3 minus T2 plus mCp into T4 minus T3. Next process is process 4 to 5, reversible adiabatic expansion or isentropic expansion process. So during the isentropic process or adiabatic process, heat transfer is equals to 0. So you are supposed to take here Q4 to 5, Q4 to 5, Q4 to 5, the heat transfer is equals to 0. Similarly, the work transfer, since this is the expansion process, so you are supposed to take the positive sign here. You are supposed to take the positive sign, that is P4V4 minus P5V5, P4V4 minus P5V5 divided by gamma minus 1, P5V5 divided by gamma minus 1. So this is a work transfer during the process 4 to 5. Okay, I hope there is no confusion up till here. Now last process is process 5 to 1, the constant volume heat rejection. The constant volume heat rejection, that is isochoric heat rejection, constant volume heat rejection. So here it should be heat rejection, here it should be heat rejection or heat rejected. So heat rejected during the process 5 to 1, 5 to 1, heat rejection during the process 5 to 1. Okay, now take the temperature difference very carefully. So mCv, why we are taking the CV here? Because we are dealing with the constant volume process. So we have to take the specific heat at constant volume. Now what about the temperature difference? Observe the TS diagram. So 5 to 1 is heat rejection process. So T5 is more than T1. So take T5 first, next T1. Okay, to avoid any confusion, just follow this procedure. So heat rejection Q5 to 1 is equals to mCV into T5 minus T1. Now the next step is to derive the equation for air standard efficiency of dual cycle. You know the basic formula. The efficiency is given by net work done divided by total heat added. The net work is the difference between heat added and heat rejected. Just take QA minus QR divided by QA, or divide the denominator separately. So 1 minus QR by QA. Now efficiency of dual cycle is 1 minus heat rejected at constant volume is mCV into T5 minus T1 divided by the total heat added. QA stands for total heat added. mCV into T3 minus T2, that is heat added during the constant volume process, plus heat added during the constant pressure process, that is mCP into T4 minus T3. Now in the numerator and denominator, m is common term, just cancel these two. Now if we divide the numerator and denominator by CV, here CV will get cancelled, here also CV will get cancelled. Now here CP by CV is equals to gamma, that is ratio of specific heats. We have seen in the last class also the ratio of CP, the specific heat at constant pressure divided by specific heat at constant volume, is equals to gamma, the ratio of specific heats. So that's why I have written here gamma. CP by CV equals to gamma. Okay, keep it as equation number 1. Now as I said in the diesel cycle also, to simplify the equation, we have to write all the temperatures in terms of T1. Let me write. So T2 in terms of T1, T3 in terms of T1, T4 in terms of T1, and T5 in terms of T1, so that finally I can cancel the T1 and T1 from the numerator and denominator, so that the final equation for efficiency should be exempted from any temperature term. Okay, so please follow the same procedure what we have seen in the diesel cycle. For the process 1 to 2, the T relationship is T1 V1 raised to gamma minus 1 equals to T2 V2 raised to gamma minus 1. Just do the cross multiplication. So T2 equals to T1 into V1 by V2 raised to gamma minus 1. So T1 as it is, because what is our main intention? To write all the temperature in terms of T1. Okay. Now V1 by V2 is compression ratio, that is RC, raised to gamma minus 1 as it is. So we have written T2 in terms of T1. Let's proceed further. For the process 2 to 3. As I said, for the constant volume process or constant pressure process, use the perfect gas equation. So P2 V2 by T2 is equals to P3 V3 by T3. This is a perfect gas equation. Now 2 to 3 process is constant volume process. 2 to 3 process is constant volume process. So V2 is equals to V3. V2 is equals to V3. So that's why I have written here as V2 equals to V3. Just cancel these two terms, V2 and V3. Now we are left with P2 T2 equals to P3 by T3. Now do the cross multiplication, that is T3 equals to T2 times P3 by P2. Now P3 by P2 is also the pressure ratio, which is designated by beta. You know already the value of, or the term T2 in terms of T1. Just substitute T2 in terms of T1, that is T1 RC raised to gamma minus 1 into P3 by P2 is beta. Now we got T3 in terms of T1. I hope this is clear. Fine. Now for the process 3 to 4, the process 3 to 4 is constant pressure process. See, at the beginning of derivation, you are supposed to draw the PV and TS diagram on the separate notebook, because every time I can't go above and I can't show the PV and TS diagram again and again. So at the very beginning, you are supposed to draw the PV and TS diagram on the separate page, okay, so that you can refer it frequently whenever it is required. Okay. Now P3 V3 by T3 equals to P4 V4 by T4. Since P3 is equals to P4, cancel these two terms. Now do the cross multiplication. T4 equals to T3 into V4 by V3. Fine. Now we have written T3 in terms of T1. Okay. Just substitute here T3 in terms of T1. Now V4 by V3 is cutoff ratio. V4 by V3 is cutoff ratio. Already we have stated V4 by V3 is cutoff ratio, which is designated by the term alpha. Which is designated by the term alpha. So just write T4 equals to T1 RC raised to gamma minus 1 into beta into alpha as it is. Now we got T4 in terms of T1. Finally, the last one, process 4 to 5. 4 to 5 is reversible adiabatic process, for which the TB relationship is T4 V4 raised to gamma minus 1 equals to T5 V5 raised to gamma minus 1. Do the cross multiplication, that is T5 equals to T4 into V4 by V5 raised to gamma minus 1. Now this is a very important step. This is a very important step, that V4 by V5 as it is. Now this equation can also be written as, this term can also be written as V4 by V1, because 5 to 1 is constant volume process. 5 to 1 is constant volume process. 5 to 1, where V1 is equals to V5. Here I can write V1 equals to V5, since 5 to 1 is constant volume process. Got it? Now V4 by V1, this can also be adjusted in terms of V4 by V3 and V3 by V1. I repeat, V4 by V1 can also be written as V4 by V3 into V3 by V1. If I cancel V3, then I'm left with the V4 by V1 as it is. Okay. So for our convenience, I have written the V4 by V3 in this term. Now V4 by V3 is cutoff ratio, that is alpha. Now here V3 by V1, V3 by V1. Listen here carefully. V1 by V2 can also be written as V1 by V3, because 2 to 3 is constant volume process. 2 to 3 is constant volume process. So V2 equals to V3. Does it make any difference? No. Now this ratio is called compression ratio, that is RC. Compression ratio, that is RC. We want V3 by V4. V1 by V3 is RC. V3 by V1 is 1 by RC. So V4 by V3 is alpha. V3 by V1 is 1 by RC. So alpha by RC can also be this. This is a another form for V4 by V5. So instead of this V4 by V5, let me write alpha by RC. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now in the next step, T5 as it is. Already we got T4 in terms of T1. Just write it as it is. Now V4 by V5 can be written as alpha by RC. Alpha by RC raised to gamma minus 1. Alpha by RC raised to gamma minus 1. So here RC raised to gamma minus 1 and RC raised to gamma minus 1 both will get cancelled. Here beta as it is, T1 as it is. Now here alpha and alpha raised to gamma minus 1. So alpha raised to 1, if nothing is there means 1, into alpha raised to gamma minus 1 into alpha raised to gamma minus 1. If the bases are same, indices should be added. Now here it is plus 1, here it is minus 1. So ultimately we are left with alpha raised to gamma. Ultimately we are left with alpha raised to gamma. So T1 beta into alpha raised to gamma as it is. Now the last step is to substitute T2, T3, T4, T5 in equation number 1. Substitute T4, T3, T5 in equation number 1. The equation number 1 is 1 minus T5 minus T1 divided by T3 minus T2 plus gamma into T4 minus T3. So substitute all the t terms in terms of t1, that is t5 in terms of t1, t3 in terms of t1, t2, t4 and t3 as it is. In the numerator and denominator, t1 is common term, cancel these two. Now in the denominator, RC raised to gamma minus 1 is common, take outside the bracket, and here also RC raised to gamma minus 1, take outside the bracket. Even beta is also common. So I can write 1 minus the numerator term as it is, beta into alpha raised to gamma minus 1 divided by RC raised to gamma minus 1 into here beta minus 1, this term beta minus 1 plus here gamma as it is, and in this bracket beta is a common term, we can take beta outside the bracket, so beta into alpha minus 1 as it is. I hope this is clear. This is a required equation for air standard efficiency of a dual cycle. Fine. What is the conclusion of this derivation? It is seen that from the above equation, the value of pressure ratio beta is greater than 1 results in increased efficiency for given value of RC and gamma. So beta is a pressure ratio. So if beta value is greater than 1, if beta value is greater than 1, then what does it represents? It represents that the efficiency of dual cycle can be increased. Okay. Now what is our final conclusion? For the same compression ratio, the efficiency of dual cycle is in between Otto cycle and diesel cycle. This is a very important question which will be asked in competitive exams. For same value of RC, that is compression ratio, for same value of RC, that is compression ratio, the efficiency of Otto cycle, is more compared to the efficiency of dual cycle, and the least efficiency is of diesel cycle, Okay. So remember guys, for same compression ratio, please remember this chronology, please remember this sequence. So sometimes in competitive exams, he will ask for the same compression ratio, which one has more efficiency or which one has low efficiency. So for same compression ratio, Otto cycle has greater efficiency compared to dual and diesel. So for same compression ratio, the efficiency of dual cycle is in between Otto and diesel cycle. Okay. So please practice this derivation thoroughly, and if you find anywhere any difficulties, you can put your comments in the comment box, and please don't forget to subscribe the channel, like and share among your friends. Please watch this video completely, then only you will understand what is the exact derivation. Okay, so watch this derivation repeatedly 2 to 3 times, and just write down by seeing the each and every step, and after that write each and every steps without seeing the steps. Okay, so please don't forget to subscribe the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I post a new video, you will get the notification instantly. Stay safe, stay home, and thank you. Have a nice day.